let me give this a boot. Yahtzee! I'm gonna clamp this little rigged up cleat. Good morning, YouTube. It's Beavis here with another episode, and today's project is working on my deck. I'm excited about, been wanting to do this for a while. It's a beautiful morning, nice day to be out here working. So to start off my deck project, I've got some things to figure out. You can't just go ahead and start screwing boards down. So first step is to wrap the perimeter with a fascia. I ran some string lines across the face just to make it nice and straight. I've got that string line going all the way down, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to attach little cleats to the outside of the deck here, and those little cleats I want to nail to the face of these joists to step off my fascia piece. A fascia piece is basically a thin, wide piece of decking to cap the outside edge of your joists. So I don't want to nail my fascia right to the joists, because anytime you have two pieces of wood or two pieces of something together, when water gets in there, it's harder for the water to dry out. So if I space my fascia off the joists a little bit, air can get up underneath there and dry out and be less prone to rot. So in order to set up my fascia, I need to determine the length of my boards and where I need to put my picture frame board. It's the board that goes around the perimeter of the deck. So a bunch of math, a bunch of calculating, but I came up with my dimension. That string line is basically going to be face of cleats. It'll come more clear once I start going with this. So I'm going to put you guys down. I'm going to cut a bunch of cleats, nail those on, and then start attaching my fascias. That'll be step one. Here I'm just marking out like every 16 inches or so where I'm going to put these little cleats, just so I can now take a measurement at that location to the string line. Get a nice accurate measurement. It'll be nice and straight. These locations aren't super critical. This is just where I'm going to nail. So I'm going to put one here in the middle for starters. I'm looking at 3/8 of an inch. Alright guys, I got all my cleats on, and out here I've got really small cleats. You can see they're anywhere from 1/4 to 3/8. And the reason I have small ones out here is because I did some math and I figured out how to get equal boards all the way up to my picture frame. So I'll have my picture frame board overhanging a bit, and then the next board will be full, and all the boards will be full, and I should end up with close to a full board tucking under that siding. So I was able to play with where I put this outside piece to get those full boards, and that's why these pieces are small. But just that little bit of space will provide some air up behind the wood and the plastic and will prevent rotting. So now I'm going to get my chop saw out. I got my fascia pieces ready to go. I'll put fascia around the entire perimeter of this deck, and then I could work on my picture frame board. I'll show you guys that next. But for now, I'm going to cut some fascias. Now I'm going to miter these outside corners, so I'm going to throw this piece on the saw, throw a 45 on the outside corner. Now when you're working by yourself, sometimes you got to come up with some creative ways to do the job by yourself. So I'm just going to clamp this little rigged up cleat to this board here. This way this end will hold the opposite end of the fascia so that I could do it by myself. I'll lay the fascia on here. I'll go to the end where the miter is, make sure that's nice. We'll get it done. Ah, that's great. That little jig is money. Money! talking about. Alright guys, so I got all my fascias done all around the perimeter, and I'm getting ready to start my first piece of picture frame. I've got it notched around the columns. I snapped a line here, that orange line that parallels the house, 11 foot out, 11 foot out. That was just an arbitrary number. This way I can measure to that perimeter board off this line to keep it nice and straight, because that's going to set the plane for how everything falls into place from there. So all these boards are going to butt into that, and I want that nice and straight. So I'm going to go around and measure to the line, from the line to the board, and throw a screw through the board. I did get screws with my order for this board, just because I don't want to use finished nails. They should be screwed down. So I'll just screw the perimeter boards, and then everything else will have the hidden fasteners. Alright, looks like 6 1/8 is my number. I'll hold 6 1/8. Throw a screw in. I'm going to keep it over here. This way it's going to be buried underneath the trim. Six 1/8. Gotta watch where I'm stepping now. So used to these pieces of plywood being nailed down. I feel like I'm gonna go through sooner or later. All right, guys, perimeter is in. Picture frame, you'd call it. The total outside framing of the deck boards. That's all the hard part. The fascias, the perimeter, it's all the tedious work. Now it's nothing more than cutting boards to fit, screwing them in with the hidden fastener. So now should start to see some progress. But I have to address one detail that's a little bit weird, and I'll show you that now. All right, guys, so if you haven't been involved with decks before, these are hidden fasteners. The deck boards have a little groove in them, and these fasteners clip into the groove, and then you run a screw through that little hole into the joist, and then the next piece will come in and click into this side. While the perimeter piece of decking does not have a groove in it, because from the outside you don't want to see the groove. So I need to provide a slot in here to accept the hidden fastener. Now what I'm going to use is a biscuit joiner. So all you got to do is put it down here. This thing's got a little plunging blade, saw blade, that comes out, and I just plunged it in the side of, it's hard to see, but I just created a little slot. Now I may have to adjust this, but now my hidden fastener can get all up in there, and now I can lock in my next board. So I'm going to go around just on this outside. I don't have to do it on that edge, because that's where the boards just butt in, but I have to do it here where the joists are running perpendicular to the perimeter piece. So I'm going to go around, biscuit all these out, and then I'm ready to start laying some decking, which is pretty exciting.